Hello and welcome to my first ever league race. This was the first week of this 1 month championship. It's a multi-class championship with LMP cars and GT3s. I'm there in 5th place in the black and green Ferrari 488 GT3. It's got my beautiful logo on the side. And yeah, I'm P5, so here we go, 5 lights, and we're away. So I get an absolutely crazy start, but there wasn't really a way past, so I ended up lifting. I'm a bit stuck on the outside through turn 1. Can't really move forward, I can't really move back. Relatively clean through turn 1, except for Andrew in the yellow and red BMW. Gets a bit on the grass. And I'm able to get alongside on the exits. And if you look here into the braking for turn 3, I have a tiny bit more confidence and I can make that move stick. Perfect. Now, with the start out of the way, the goal was to get into a rhythm and stick with the leaders. Leaders were a bit faster, and if I can stick with them, that's perfect. With that insanely good start, I was in P3. I had a pretty good chance at a podium. Now here, just a lap or two later, we have Andrew behind, comes into turn 1 way too hot, and loses the rear end on entry. It looks like he was able to catch it real quick, but that tiny bit of contact sent him way off the track and into the wall. Really tragic, but it gives me a bit of breathing room behind, so. Moving on to another couple of laps later, we have poor Huck Farrell in P1 in that blue and red BMW. There's a little moment in turn 1. Turn 1 proving pretty deadly this week, and he goes off track. And that promotes me to P2 and Oleg into P1. Just a bit later, when we start coming up on some back markers, some GT3 back markers, I've had plenty of LMP traffic to contend with, but now with the GT3s as well, starting to feel how cramped this track is. Not too many overtaking opportunities. So here into the chicane, we have the slower Audi on the outside, the faster LMP down the inside, and me in the middle. We all get bunched up a bit into braking, and then, oh no, the Audi spins on exit. And the LMP and I are barely able to squeeze by safely, but Huck right behind is pushed onto the grass, and he loses a position to Bearded. So by now, Oleg is way ahead, and Bearded and Huck are pretty much still right on my tail. Now here, Bearded is close, gaining into the hairpin. I defend inside and brake plenty late. I cover off that switchback too, parking it on the apex nicely, but I go way wider to that left-hander, and after 2 awkward turns, Bearded gets a better exit, and he's able to gain that position. That puts me back in P3, and Huck is still right on my tail. Then, just 2 laps later, Bearded has a bit of gap already, and Huck is still pretty close behind, but on the exit of turn 1, Bearded goes a little bit wide and has a big moment. It loses 2 positions there, but is nice and safe with re-entry, and that promotes us back into P2, but we still have a huge threat from Huck right behind. Just another lap later, it's time to go into the pits. We have an automatic pit limiter, so we can just throw it in whenever. And you can see shifting neutral right before I stop. So I can get an amazing launch out of the pits and hopefully gain quite a bit of time. Each race has a mandatory pit stop. It's pretty much necessary anyway because you need to fuel. In theory, switching tires is optional, but with 200 tire and fuel wear, the ideal strategy has a switch in tires. I went pretty safe with the strategy. I went medium to medium, and then roughly half fuel per stint. And with an amazing launch, here we go. It's a really good stop for me. As you can see, I opened up a gap behind to Huck. That'll give me a bit of a chance to catch up with Oleg as well. And we see that here at the end of this next lap. We got Oleg coming out of the pits. And it's a perfect strategy call for Oleg. Comes out barely in front with a bit fresher tires and plenty of clean air in front of him. Really lucky there. If Oleg had stayed out one more lap, there was a decent chance that I could have ended up in front of him. So really good call there. But it's not quite over for him yet because I do have warm tires. So that's going to give me a slight advantage for the next couple of corners. However, through turn 4, get a really good exit, and I'm gaining on the straight. And here we have a late dive down the inside, a bit deep, and some gravel on the exit. And Oleg has the confidence to go around the outside, and I don't gain that position in the end. By now, his tires are nice and warm, and I know he's faster on warm tires, so I'm just decided to stick behind him and hold on to the position I have for now. But that didn't really work out because Oleg pulled away pretty far and Huck is really close on my tail. But Huck has a huge moment in turn 1, catches it pretty well, but it looks like everyone's making mistakes here. My consistency is starting to really pay off. Just 2 laps later, we're in heavy traffic. 2 LMPs and 1 lap car. I just passed that lap car, and there's LMPs want to get past as well. But the lap car misses his braking point and bumps me a tiny bit. I go off track, but I'm able to keep the car facing the right direction, and I'm pretty much fine, other than some time loss, some dirty tires, and a hell of a heart attack. Now, close to the end of the race, trying to get past some lapped traffic, and they're not really getting out of the way, and I've been looking for a way past for quite a while. Able to get around the Audi on the outside of turn 1, it's pretty good, but there's still that Porsche ahead. And now into turn 3, the Porsche is kind of slow on exit, and I make a little mistake, and Huck goes flying past. And I lose even more time to that LMP sneaking up on the inside as well. Now there isn't really much I could do. Huck is faster, so I won't really be able to overtake him. At the end of that lap, tragedy strikes, with Huck trying to overtake that same Porsche I was stuck behind. And, oh no, there's contact! Huck Farrell spins around, that is race ruining. Absolutely horrible. And with 1 lap left to go, I get promoted into P2 with almost no pressure from behind. At the end of that lap, I come home to finish a P2 in my first ever league race. I mean, there was certainly a ton of luck involved, but also some patience and consistency from yours truly. That was an absolutely amazing experience. So that's going to give me 22 points toward this championship. With 3 races left to go. Make sure to check out the other videos from that championship if I've uploaded them yet. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.